Hi, I'm Sherry Karlo. We're here at Karlo Estates in beautiful Prince Edward County in our post and beam barn. This barn was built in 1805 by the Stevenson family, and it's our pleasure to restore it to being a beautiful showcase jewel in the county's crown for presenting our wines. So here at Karlo Estates we do food-friendly wines, which means they're higher in acid to cut the fats and the creams in food and lower in alcohol to have the heat not interfere with the enjoyment of food. Because of that, we actually force feed all of our clients here at Karlo Estates. We do small food pairings with each of the wines, things like chips or chocolate or nuts. And it just helps to bring out the taste profile in the wines and empowers people to know how to use them themselves at home. So my late husband, Richard Karlo, and I founded this winery. We found the land in 2005. After doing extensive research by asking every other winemaker in the county what they thought, we came up with our own hypothesis on what we thought would work. So we wanted about 100 acres of Hillier limestone soil close to the Toronto side of things because that's where we're originally from. And we wanted to have south-facing vineyards, and because my husband was a civil engineer, it was really important to him to have a hip barn because he's always had a love of buildings. So it took us quite a while to find the perfect combination, but the property actually found us. We were working with a real estate agent and we couldn't find anything that we liked. And then finally one day we thought, well, let's just go driving around. And luckily we drove past the Stevenson farm and saw a for sale sign on the barn. So we thought, well, let's pull in here and see what's here. And once we did, we realized it was 100 acres. It was exactly what we were looking for. So we thought, okay, well, let's go see the real estate agent and see what the possibilities are. Luckily for us, there was a stake sticking out of a pole on the farm gate, and we backed the truck up right into that stake, and it ripped a hole into our tire. So the result was we called CAA, and after they realized, like, what, where are you? And we had about an hour and a half of being here. It gave us time to walk the land. We met Joe Stevenson, who still lives here on the property, and he took us through the land and showed us it has a beautiful stream running through the land, which we've built our dry stone bridge over, which is an emblem for our winery. It's the largest dry stone bridge in North America. And we're right across the street from Hubbs Creek, which is a fantastic vineyard as well, and really friendly neighbors, so we just instantly fell in love with the place. So we bought the land in 2005. We started planting in 2006. We did our first vintage in 2008, and then we opened our doors to the public on May 22nd of 2010. So it's been a few years now, but things are really going well. We are now one of the top destinations in Prince Edward County on TripAdvisor. We've won People's Choice Awards for Best Winery out of Kingstonist magazine, and we are constantly getting great praise from our clients of doing a really unique experience with the food pairings with the wine. Wine to us is very cultural. It's part of enjoyment of life and that joie de vivre with art and food and working all together to just, enjoy life to the fullest in the most responsibly sustainable and delicious way possible. Here on the land, we have planted a few of the more traditional grape varietals, like, of course, the county's known for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, so we have our estate-grown Pinots and Chards. We also pull from a vineyard on Lake on the Mountain where we get some beautiful Rieslings and Cabernet Franc. But the one thing that's unique about Karlo Estates is my late husband used to be one of the wine judges of Canada, and he quite often would taste hybrids in competition that he thought were doing some amazing things. So there's new hybrids now like Petite Pearl and Marquette and Frontenac Noir, which are really, really well suited for our terroir. They don't die until minus 40 degrees. So normally in the county we have to hill up, which means we bury our canes after we harvest every year, because French vinifera, the Chardonnays and the Pinot Noirs, they will die at minus 22 degrees Celsius. So unique to the county, our vineyards are they look like a hobbit planted them. They look like little rosebuds close down to the ground, and then the vines go up onto the trellising system like a fan. And that's so that we can take 4 canes or 4 vines and then tie them down to the ground. We run a plow through the vineyard and hill up about 2 or 3 inches of limestone soil. And that little bit of geothermal heating just protects the vine throughout the winter and ensures that we have fruit for the next year. Then in the spring, once it's dry enough, we take a grape hoe through the vineyard, we knock the dirt out between the vines, and we unbury every single vine, putting 2 onto the trellis to become the fruit, and then 2 go higher to become the canopy. So lots of handwork involved in making county wines. So some people might say, well, if it's so hard to grow fruit here in the county, why the heck are you guys doing it? And that's a great question. There's 3 reasons. One is the Hillier limestone soil. Limestone is just basically fossilized coral reef, and it's that coral reef that gives the grapes the minerality that's so unique to the county. And it, like limestone is the kind of soil that people look for throughout the world for great wine country. The other reason we're here is it's the extreme cutting edge of cool climate wine growing. Cool climate wines are becoming more in vogue because they're lower in alcohol, so that, again, that heat doesn't interfere with your enjoyment of your food. And people are becoming more conscious of alcohol levels when they're out enjoying life. And also because it's cooler, it takes longer for the grapes to ripen, which gives the grapes more time to pick up minerality and complexity from the soil. Also, the fact that the soil is limestone allows, grapes don't like wet feet. So it allows the land to drain a lot more, which forces the root system to be longer and longer, going deeper and deeper into the bedrock. And so the longer the root system is, the more surface area there is to pick up minerality and complexity from the soil. Then the third reason that we're here is because it's a pioneering country. I mean, the county is the Sonoma to Niagara's Napa. There's a lot of small family-owned vineyards going on here where people are doing a lot of experimentation. And so it's a great place to really push the boundaries of winemaking. And some of the great examples that we've done here at Karlo Estates is our Chardonnay Choa. Choa is an acronym for cherry, hickory, oak, and ash, where every fourth stave in the barrel is a different kind of wood, cherry, hickory, oak, and ash. We've also done barrel fermented Rieslings using spent oak barrels that aren't giving off any oak quality anymore. So we're just using that oxygenation process of the wood to help soften the wines. And then even the grain in the barrel picks up some of the tartaric acid. So when you take it out of the barrel, it's softer on the palate. It's a more luscious wine, and it has a little bit longer taste profile because of the slight influence of the wood. And then other things that we're doing are, we were the first to make fortified wines here in the county. Our Van Alstyne Red was also named on that top 10 cutting edge wines in the list by John Szabo and Zoltan Szabo at the Gourmet Toronto Food and Wine Show. We're the only winery that's been put on the list twice, and that's because we were doing, instead of using brandy, we use high test grain alcohol. So it allows us just to put a wee splash of alcohol to arrest the fermentation during the fermenting process, and it keeps that residual sugar there while increasing the alcohol level to preserve the wine. So just a lot of really crazy experiments that we're doing here that Richard actually established the winery together. We built it together, but I always credit him because he was the winemaker. He was written about in the National Post as being one of the most innovative winemakers in the country, and we have a legacy program where we're continuing that on, where we're still trying to pursue the ultimate dream of Karlo Estates is to make the best Bordeaux blend that we can possibly make. We want to get all 6 Bordeaux wines into one bottle, and we're very close now. We just took the first harvest off of our first 1-acre planting of Carmière, which is the only commercial planting of Carmière in eastern Canada. Unfortunately, because of the frost in May of 2015, there's a shortage of Merlot throughout the county, so we still haven't been able to make Sextus. We traditionally have made Quintus, which is 5 of the 6 Bordeaux varietals, so Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, Merlot, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. This year, our stepping stone wine in that signature series is Triumvirate. It's a classic meritage of Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, and Merlot, and it's a big, full-bodied, beautiful grilling wine. What's my favorite wine? That's a hard question to answer. That's kind of like asking which is your favorite child. The reason it's hard to answer is because, as you know, wine is always about being different. Every bottle is different. What you're enjoying it with makes it different. Who you're with, what your mood is, the time of year. I mean, the thing about wine is it's always about being different, whereas like beer is always about trying to create consistency and hitting that taste profile. But the beauty of wine is the complexity and the diversity that you can get throughout the world. But even within a bottling itself, there's sometimes bottle variances that are exciting. So it really depends on the time of year, what I'm doing. I'd have to say my current favorite is Derek Barnett's 2015 Pinot Noir. It's an absolutely beautiful wine. It's a little bit more masculine in style for a Pinot. The county's been typically known for making really pretty, feminine, elegant Pinots that are very bright cherry fruit. Whereas our Pinot Noir, fabulous wines, by the way, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But our wine is more masculine. It's got more cigar box and saddle, so it's kind of a cowboy in a glass.